Nothing there?
No, it's not coming through to YouTube.
Okay. Hello, Daisy.
Hello.
Hello. We won't be long now, sorry.
Don't worry.
Have you got your computer all set up?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we won't be too long. If you like, you can start by navigating over to that GameFruit website that I put in the chat earlier. Hello. We won't be long now, sorry. Yes, Andrew.
It's live on Facebook.
It's live on Facebook.
It's live, yeah, it's everywhere now.
Okay, nice. Okay.
So, whenever you're ready.
Cool. Okay. So, hello everyone. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be doing a little bit of game design. So, something new, something different that we're going to be trying out over sort of like the next few weeks. So, this is going to be kind of like a new session that we're going to be running. So, we're going to be running it every 2 weeks. But with sort of like the exception of next week. So next week we'll be running a session same time, 4 till 6 next Wednesday, and then after that we'll be doing sessions every 2 weeks, so that it kind of like you'll still get to do like the club MSpark stuff and things like that. So we'll be doing these like little game design sessions and different bits and pieces sort of every week, or every 2 weeks, sorry. So for now, if you'd like to go to the GameFruit page that I put in the chat earlier. Hello, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, Andrew.
It's Dan today.
Oh, okay.
But Andrew's here as well.
I'm here as well. I'm leading the session today.
Okay. So, are you doing like any sort of like streams or anything?
Yeah, so if you go in the chat, we've put a link to the YouTube stream so that you can see what we're up to. And as well, we're going to be streaming on Facebook and Twitch as well.
Okay.
Okay. So to start with, if everyone could just go up to the GameFruit link that I put in the chat earlier, we'll share it again now so that you can. And then if everybody once we'll give everyone a couple seconds to do that, and then we'll start moving on to the next part.
I'm already up to the point where is this right? So I've got like a blank project ready.
Yeah, if you've got a blank project up, that's great. Otherwise, for everybody else, if everybody's now navigated to the GameFruit page, all you need to do is click on Start Making, which is like the big green button you can probably see on my screen. And then once you've got to that part and it's loaded up, just click on Start a Platform Game. And then that will load up like a template, but we're not going to be using that template today because we're actually going to be building our own sort of game. So sometimes it can take a little bit of time to load, so kind of, just give it a few moments. It'll bring up sort of like this tutorial. If you just click next and done, that should then give you sort of a screen like you could probably see on the streams now. The first thing that you'll need to do after you've got to this stage is click on the little, if you see at the top of the screen, you'll see a section that says Game Settings, and next to that is the word Game and then the numbers 1 and 2. All you need to do to begin with is click on the plus symbol until you see a little number 3 come up. So give everyone a couple seconds to do that.
And number 3.
Yep, so that you've got so that along the top of the screen there, as you can see where my mouse is now, you've got 1, 2, and 3.
The delay between what you're saying and the stream.
Oh, that's okay. It'll catch up eventually. Just
Okay,
like.
so test how much the delay is personally. I see that's what we do.
Okay.
Okay, so I will say the word tomato, then I'll start the timer, and then the moment I hear it on stream, I'll stop it.
Okay. That's a good idea. So if you let me know when you've got to this stage, and then we'll carry on.
That's how much delay there is.
Okay, that's all right. That's fine. Okay, so have you got to this section now where we can...
Section 3?
Yeah, so have you got the 3 levels along the top?
Yes, I am currently
Okay.
in 3.
Okay, that's good. So what I want you to do now, what we need to do now, is I don't think you should be okay, Daisy, for yours, because you've already got a blank screen. But for everybody else who's watching, what we need to do is we need to just delete numbers 1 and numbers 2, so that we're just left with it will go, that number 3 will change to a number 1. But what we need to do is we need to right click on the levels, level 1, and remove it. Okay, so that we're just left with the number 2, which is with the number 3, which is the completely blank screen that you're on now. So delete 1 and 2. So you should see it like on my screen when the stream catches up.
Everyone's still there?
Yeah, still here. Have you got there? Have you done it?
Yeah, I've deleted the 2.
Lovely. That's great. So you've just got the blank screen now, yeah?
I'm at the point where you are on the YouTube video now.
Wonderful.
Which is just like a
blank screen. Okay, great. Okay, so Game Fruit is sort of like, imagine Scratch, but it meets game design. Okay, so it's kind of like a little bit of a crossover between, in parts, what we've been doing in what you've been doing in Scratch, and also what you've been doing kind of, and also something sort of like a little bit new. So what we're going to kind of do today on Game Fruit is I'm going to take you through some of the basic concepts of, like, how it works and the stuff that you can do on it. And then what we'll do next week then is we'll go through a couple more kind of other bits and pieces to do with Game Fruit. But for today, what we're going to do is we're just going to like design sort of like a really kind of basic sort of platform game. And you can sort of customize it however you like and things like that, okay? Is that okay?
Dan?
Yes.
I have an idea. Maybe you could try screen sharing on your computer, so then we can see what you're doing as well.
Yeah, well, I think we're live streaming on YouTube, So if you look, can you see it on YouTube?
Yes, but there's quite a lot of delay, as I mentioned.
Okay. Well, Andrew.
You could just screen share in Discord. So
Yeah.
along the bottom, an option to screen share.
I'll go on to Discord now so that we can screen share.
Okay. Yeah, this will be a lot better.
So there might still be a little bit of a delay, but you should be able to. Can everyone see that now? On
yeah.
Discord, yeah?
It's loading. Any delay?
No delay?
Barely any, but it's still loading.
Okay. I'll give it a second to load.
I've still got like 2 dots just going around loading.
On the Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I've got it now.
Got it?
Slowly.
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
So
So.
you're going to pop to the low.
Okay. So we'll carry on a little bit here, but we won't go very far. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what we'll do, Daisy, is we'll just carry on in little steps so that we can so that I can kind of carry on showing you some of the basics. Okay. And for anybody else who's watching as well. So do you see underneath that section where we just deleted some of the levels? Do you see that there's like a little toolbar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like a mouse,
That's
paintbrush.
That's it. So each one of those can do like different things. Okay. So the mouse will let you like select objects. Okay. The paintbrush tool is kind of like what you'd use to like edit things. The 2-letter T's let you add text. The little, do you see the little sort of like rectangle?
Rubber.
That's a rubber, yeah?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And then the arrows let you move around the page. So you can't like click and drag, unfortunately, unless you're holding down the space bar. If you want to get to like different parts of the level, like you could probably see on my screen now. If you click on the arrows, you just click and drag, and then you can move around to other parts of the level, okay? And you might see right in the bottom corner, in the bottom left, or just in the bottom of the screen, you can see like, you can zoom in and out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, what we'll do now is we'll start talking about... You're back. Okay, good. Perfect timing. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about different layers, okay? So a layer, it's kind of like, do you see the box on the right of the screen that's called layers?
Yeah.
Yeah? So layers are kind of like different sections of the game, okay? So you would have like a layer for your background, you would have a layer for, let's say, your characters.
It's like, I can't remember what is it Draw Plus? But it's like you can create like...
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
And you do them in different layers.
That's right, absolutely. So in Game Fruit, when you're designing your games, you need to have different layers that sort of represent different things, okay? So for the first layer, you'll probably see, have you got one there, Daisy, called background?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the background of the game, that's going to kind of be like your background.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, have you got one there as well that's called background?
I do have a layer called background.
Okay, wonderful. So if I could take you over to the left of the screen now, you might see a section that's got things like terrain brushes, player, collectibles. Do you see it on the left of the screen?
Yeah, like all sorts of stuff.
All sorts of different stuff, yeah?
Coins, a player character.
That's it.
Brackets.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do there is if you scroll down, okay, to a section, you'll probably see it called background. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So what I need you to do is pick one. Doesn't matter which one, it's up to you because this is going to be your game, okay? If you pick one, click on it once, and then drag it into the game, and just position it sort of like how I am, okay? So it doesn't matter where you put, sort of how big it is. It just drag it in and position it in the top left-hand corner like I've done, and you don't need to make it any bigger or any smaller, and I'll explain why that is in a second, okay? So I'll let you do that for a couple seconds, let you pick which one you want.
Okay, I've got the industrial wasteland.
Yeah. Okay. How's yours going, Daisy?
How do I get to put in the background?
Okay. So
Click on it.
I think I can.
that's okay. So if you are you in this? Can you see all of the backgrounds like I have on my screen now?
No.
No? Okay. So, on the left-hand side of the screen,
Yeah.
there's a section, you can probably see it's got different buttons on it. It says things like Explore, Marketplace, Character Creator, and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah? If you scroll down that menu, you should get to a section eventually called Backgrounds.
No, I've only got Explore Marketplace, Character Creator, Create Animation.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So what you need to do in that case, okay? So if anyone else has this problem, this is what you need to do to fix it, okay? Do you see where it says Explore Marketplace?
Yeah.
If you click on that, okay, and scroll down to a section, you'll see one that says Game Fruit Classic Pack. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you click on that one, you can click on the button at the bottom that says Get It for Free. If you do that, you should then be able to go back to the section that you should then be able to see everything that we can see now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Got it now.
Got it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So if you put your background in, and then we'll carry on from there then. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, once we've put the background in, okay, so the reason that I told you that you didn't need to make it any bigger is because if you hover your mouse over that background now, in the top right-hand corner, you'll probably see a little jigsaw piece come up. Yeah? So what that jigsaw piece means, okay, is that what you've got there is a script, okay, that's been associated. That's right, yeah. So a script will let you do stuff. So the scripts in Game Fruits, they look really, really similar to how they do in Scratch. So I'll just show you an example, okay? So you'll probably see on my screen now, it does take a little bit of time to load, but I'll show it to you, okay? Can you see those?
I don't see anything, I just see 2 squares.
Okay. Can you see it on my screen now? Or is it taking a while to load?
It's taking flipping ages.
Okay.
I'll try closing Discord and then reopen it.
That's fine. Can you see it, Daisy?
No.
No. Is it taking a while to load, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just give it a second to try and catch up.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Is it working now?
Please work. that just mutes me. That turns on my camera.
Is it back yet, can you see it yet, Daisy, or is it still...
No, it's loading.
Still loading, okay. Okay. How's the YouTube? Is the YouTube working? We might have to move on to there and we'll just have to,
Yeah.
the YouTube's working?
Yeah.
YouTube working.
Okay. That's fine.
But there is less delay now. It's not as severe as
Okay.
before.
So I'll take things a little bit slower so that we don't worry about the delay, okay? So what I was saying about the scripts, like you said, it lets you do different things. So you can probably see eventually when the YouTube catches up that you get something that looks a little bit like Scratch. So it's a little bit of block-based programming that tells in this case, the background, what to do. So what this script is basically saying is that during the course of you playing the game, the background will move with the player. So it will be constantly in relation to myself, which is the little purple block there, which means that it's always going to be following the player as they move through the game. So that means that you don't need to worry about changing the size of the background, okay? So now that you've got your background in, what we're going to do now is we're going to add in a new layer, okay? So you might be able to see that, you know where it says layers in the right hand side of the screen? There's a little plus button. So that plus button will essentially let you add a new layer, okay? And there are two different layers that you can choose from. So you can either pick a new layer, which is just sort of like a normal new layer, like we've got here with the background. But we've also got one that's called New Tile Map, okay? So a new tile map is a different kind of layer, which I'll show you now. So you'll probably see it on the YouTube eventually. And it gives you sort of like a little grid. And it lets you place things a lot more accurately, okay? So what we're going to be using it for today is we're going to be using it to place the floor in our game. So that we can sort of accurately place where the floor is going to go, okay? Remember, if I'm going too fast or if there's anything that you want to ask, just go onto the chat or sort of go into the voice chat and let me know and I'll slow things down, okay?
You now need to create a new tile map.
Yeah.
So click new tile map.
That's right, yeah. And then you should get a new layer come up, which makes it look sort of like a grid. And you'll see... Yeah, so in that layers menu that you've got on the right hand side now, there should be two layers. One's called background and one's called tile map. So what we need to do is in sort of when you kind of do like coding in when you start doing like coding like Python and stuff like that.
I'm starting to do a bit of Python recently.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. So what have you started doing things like commenting?
I do know how to make a comment.
Okay. So okay, cool. So when you do commenting, you comment code so that you're able to know what you've done, or you can remind yourself what you've been doing. So what we're going to be doing with layers is we're actually going to be renaming each layer that we add in the game so that we can remember what it's for. So if you double click on the name of the layer, you should be able to rename it so that you know exactly what so that you can call it exactly what it's going to be used for. So
what do you call it?
I'm calling it floor, but you can call it ground or path or anything that represents the fact that it's going to be used for the floor that your character is going to walk on.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just let everyone catch up with that for a minute, and then I'll carry on. Okay.
Okay. While we're having this quick break, I'm gonna see if I can go grab a snack.
Okay.
I've just like totally lost you now.
That's okay.
I'm only on the bit where I've done the background.
Okay, that's all right. So what
I
you
go to edit script background, but then I can't see the code on the YouTube video.
That's okay. So
Blurry.
are you on the so you can so did you go to edit script, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, you can so do you see where the X is at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not the X that obviously closes the internet, but the X that closes sort of like the screen that you're on. Hang on, I'll show it in my so the X next to the play button, yeah? If you click on that, and then it'll say, do you want to save? You can just say, no.
Okay, everyone, I'm back.
Okay.
So next.
So, where are we now?
We're still in the same place. We're just catching up.
Where am I? So I'm on the kind of page where I've got the background up.
Okay.
And then I can add my layers and stuff.
Okay, that's cool. So that's where we need to be. So what you need to do is, you see in the layers section?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you click on that, do you see where it says the little plus symbol next to the layers?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you click on that, you can then click on new tile map.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you add that in, you'll probably see that it makes it look like a bit of a grid.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So what that tile map is for is it lets you kind of place things a little bit more accurately. So it kind of gives a bit more structure. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using that tile map for the floor in the game so that your character can walk on it, okay? So what you need to do is with every layer that you add, you should aim to kind of like rename it so that you know exactly what it's for, so that you don't lose track of what layer you're using for what, okay? So if you double click on it, on the name of that layer, you should be able to rename it, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? So call it something...
Is that on the tile map?
That's right, yeah, that's it. If you double click on that, you should be able to rename it then to whatever that you know, preferably call it something like floor, ground, or, you know, something that will make you remember that it's being used as the floor that the character's going to walk on. Okay?
So I'm up to kind of where you are now.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do now is, I mentioned obviously earlier how the toolbar works, but I'll just go through it again in case some people hadn't joined in, okay? So there's obviously different bits on this toolbar that let you do different things. So the mouse button, so you'll see the toolbar on the left-hand side of the screen. It's got like 5 different options on it. So the mouse lets you select items. The paintbrush lets you sort of edit items. The 2 letter T's let you add text into the game, and we'll be using that one a little bit later on. The rubber lets you kind of delete things, okay? And then the arrows let you move around the game so that you can see different parts of the level that you're building, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding a floor to the game so that the character can walk across it, okay? So in the section on the left again, where we added the background, if you scroll up, you should see one called terrain brushes. It might be that you need to scroll down or up or down, but it'll be in there somewhere. There should be one called terrain brushes. If you look for that section, there should be a set of different sort of terrains that you can use. Okay, so you know the section on the left of the screen, you know where we chose the background from earlier?
I'm now I've got terrain brushes now.
Yeah? Okay. Has everyone else got terrain brushes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have.
So what you can do is you can click on one of those. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one, it's up to you, you can pick. And then what you can do is you can actually, if you hold down left click, you can drag it into the grid. Okay, now remember, it doesn't matter if you go beyond the background, because the background's going to scroll with the character as he plays through the game. Okay, so you can go up and down, you can go outside of the grid, you could maybe make little steps, something like that. Okay, it's up to you. And remember, if you make a mistake, just click on the rubber. Have you got it?
How do you make the background move with your character?
Okay, so you know that script that we looked at earlier?
Yeah.
That will do it automatically for you during the game.
Okay, so I don't need to add any.
No.
Blocks in or anything.
No. So as soon as you go, you can go out like I've done. I'm not sure if the YouTube's caught up yet, but if you go outside of the background like I've done, it doesn't matter because you'll be able to. The background's just going to scroll with the character as they move through the game. Okay. And then remember, if you need to delete something, all you do is you use that rubber and then you can just delete, just click and drag like you were adding it in. You can just click on certain tiles, or you can just, if you want to delete a whole section, you can just click and drag and it'll delete all of that, section that you want to remove, okay?
Okay.
So I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to kind of, build up a little bit of a floor. And then we'll carry on in a second. Feel free to, if you want to, if there's anything you need help with, obviously remember to just ask. But as well, if you wanted to put like screenshots in the Discord chat as you go, Andrew and I'll be able to have a look at them, and we'll then be able to comment on what you've been doing, and we can have a look at your progress. So I think Andrew's just put like a picture up now in the Discord chat showing like sort of like the stuff that you can do with the tiles. Just like
I think built your floor and it goes beyond the background of the game that you're creating. Click the play button and you'll see how the background works with the floor colors.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a massive meltdown then because I actually thought that I had the rubber out, and then I accidentally nearly rubbed out all of my program, and then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do it all again. And then I found the undo button.
Yeah, there is an undo button if you need to do it, yeah. Is everyone getting on all right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll give you a little bit more time to add a bit of floor, and then what we'll do, we'll move on to the next bit, because hopefully at the end you'll have some time to kind of like add a bit more to your game and stuff. I'll give you some time at the end to kind of like add a bit more detail and sort of like mess around with a couple more of the features and things like that. But for now, I'll let you carry on for a little bit. Has anyone been up to anything nice recently, or?
Distracted by all the foals we've had.
Okay.
We've got three, but actually 4. But there's 3 at home because we took a chance with leaving the horse in the field that wasn't near our house and had the foal there. So.
Okay.
And then it's like really wild.
I see.
And my pony had one this morning, and my mum woke me up at like 5:30 to wake me up to tell me to go and check on the pony. So I went, and she'd had the foal.
Oh, that's really cool. That's good news.
So I'm just going to be with them
You're
all
gonna
the time.
You're going to be really keeping busy.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we okay to move on a little bit? Do you need a little bit more time, or?
I think I'm all right to move on.
Can I just have a moment to fill up a drink?
Yeah, that's okay.
That'll give me a moment to finish off.
That's fine.
Came back.
Okay. So what we're going to move on and do now is we're going to add a character to the game, okay? A playable character, because obviously a game's not going to be very good if you can't actually play as a person. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a playable character to the game, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to need to add a new layer, okay? So like we did before, we're going to add in a new layer, okay? But this time we're not going to add a tile map, we're just going to add a normal new layer, okay? So if you go back to that layers section, click the plus button and then click new layer. And we're going to call this one characters, okay? So I'll let everyone do that. So this layer, it's going to have all of our playable characters and all of our NPCs. Does everybody know what an NPC is?
Character.
A non-playable character, yeah. So we're going to be adding in some NPCs in a second as well, okay? But has everybody put in that characters layer? Okay. So one.
I think I've got enough time to do the weird.
What was that?
What?
Say that again.
We might think if we I just have a few seconds. I might be able to show you guys the weird Tic Tac packet I have.
Okay.
Turn on video.
How do I get to what?
It looks like the normal Tic Tac packet, doesn't it? Well, okay, I think the stream is loaded.
It's okay. What was your question, Daisy?
So what am I doing now with the character thing?
Okay, so have you added in a new layer?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the first thing you need to do is just add in a new layer. So just don't add in a tile map. This one's just going to be called just a normal new layer. Okay.
And I'm renaming it.
Rename it to, call it things like characters or players or, anything that kind of resembles that is going to be hosting your characters, okay?
So if you have more than one characters, will you do a layer for each character?
Okay, so if you wanted to, you could have a layer for your playable character and a layer for your non-playable characters. But what I've been doing, and I found that it works fine, is just having all of the characters on one layer.
Okay.
So you can just have one layer for your characters, and it should work absolutely fine. It's up to you. So have you popped that one in?
Yeah. I've done that.
Wonderful. Okay. So one thing that I will say that's quite important with when you're using GameFruit is always make sure that you're on the right layer for what you need. Okay. So if you wanted to change the floor, make sure that you're on the floor layer. Okay. If you want to change the background, make sure you're on the background layer. So you always have to make sure that you've clicked on the correct layer for what you need to do, because otherwise things can go a little bit funky and it might not always work exactly as you want it to. So if you want to change a part of your game, always make sure that you've clicked on the right layer for what you need to change. Okay. So make sure that you clicked on that new layer that you've just made for the characters. And what you then need to do is, if you go back to that menu on the left again, what you'll see is that you've got a section. It should just be called Player. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. What you need to do is you need to click on that player and then just pop him in the game on top of like a piece of floor that you've just designed type thing, okay? So you'll probably see it like I've done in the YouTube stream in a second. You'll probably see what I mean.
Why is it so complicated?
Where have you got up to?
Just had a look at the player controls and holy moly macaroni. There is a lot of code.
Oh yes, there's a lot of script behind the playable character. So luckily you don't have to worry about doing anything with that. It's very confusing, isn't it? Okay. So has everybody managed to add in their playable character?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm going to try and put a picture on the Discord.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
So
Go for it, absolutely.
So here's my level.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So have you managed to add in a character yet?
Yes, now here's the code behind the character.
There's a lot of code, isn't there? Okay. So you know your character. Did you add that? Did you add a new layer to put that character in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay. Have you managed to share yours, Daisy?
Yeah, there's a picture just loading
Okay.
up now.
I'll have a look at that before we carry on.
Like halfway through.
That's okay.
It
Internet
always takes a long time.
broadband's not always the quickest, is it?
No. And it takes me a while to work out how to put a picture up and how to take a photo, actually.
That's okay.
Because I've just changed from iPhone to iPhone was being stupid.
Okay.
So I'm like still trying to work out how to use.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine. Okay. So hopefully that will come up in a second. But what we'll do now is, whilst you're still on that characters layer, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to add an NPC, so a non-playable character to the game, okay? So in that same menu on the left where we selected the player from, if you scroll down a little bit, you should be able to see a section marked NPC. And you'll see that there is a whole bunch of different characters in that section, okay? And those are known as non-playable characters. So they're going to be... oh, it's just come through now, Daisy. It looks really cool.
Yeah. Is the character just that small anyway?
So what you'll find... Yeah, so when you drag them into the game, they do go a little bit bigger. You can resize them if you want to, but I'd recommend that you keep them sort of like the same size, because you'll see in a second when we test out the game for the first time that actually the size that they are now is actually kind of like big enough for kind of like what you need.
It's like you can like hardly see it.
I know, they are a bit small. You'll see in the game that when you're playing it though that they do get a little bit bigger.
Just make sure you're not putting the player characters on the floor tile.
Yeah.
Maybe they appear small.
Yeah. Are you on the characters layer, Daisy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Oh, should I be clicking on placing it in the character layer?
Yeah, so when you're adding a new character, make sure that you're on the characters layer.
That's probably why.
It's okay.
That's probably why it's not working.
That's okay.
Here we go.
You got it?
I think I've got it now.
Yeah? Okay, so we added in an NPC, so I'm going to pick one and put it in my game as well. So what you'll see with these characters, if you hover your mouse over them, they also have scripts tied to them as well. So each one of the scripts tells it to do a different thing. Now, with the NPC characters, what you'll find is that they contain this logic where what they'll do is they'll copy every single thing that you do, okay? So you'll see in a second when we're playing the game that whatever you do in the game, the NPC will copy, okay? So what we're going to do now, in a second, I'll show you how you could change your playable character into being an NPC so that you're not stuck with just one type of person who you can play as. But what we'll do in the meantime is, once you've dragged your NPC in, if you click that play button, you'll see in the top of the screen there should be an orange button that says play. If you click on that, it'll take a little bit of time to load, but you should be able to move around in the game. You'll probably see it on my screen on the YouTube stream in a second. And you'll be able to move around in the game, and you'll see that the NPC copies exactly what you do.
Why did I make this so hard?
I know. I've made some games in.
My non-playable character is just keep jumping up and down on the spot because it can't get onto the platform.
Yeah, I've made some games in the past that I've had to change because I've made them too difficult.
Now I'm just like, it's just like a non-playable character doesn't exist because it's got stuck on one of the platforms.
I see. Yeah, well, the good thing about this is that you can, of course, change it to be however you want it. If you find there's like a problem, you can just change the level yourself to make it easier or harder, however you sort of find it. But can you see that as you play through the game, that the background actually follows the character as you move? Yeah. So that's why you didn't need to make it any bigger at the start, because it will just follow you as you go.
I'll take like a really short video.
That's okay.
It's really funny.
Said, "Spooky, scary skeleton, robo-skeleton."
Is that who you've added in?
No, I cannot kill him by jumping on him. And I fall in. Info.com.
Okay.
It's really funny. I can't stop staring at it.
Running away from the NPC and I'll make it disappear.
No, the
Nope,
NPC will be it's programmed to follow and to copy pretty much what you do. So we'll see in a second how we'll add in a section later on that will show you how you can like destroy the NPCs so that you can escape from them. But we'll do that later on.
Robot out.
It's really
Robot 0 holes 1.
Okay, are we ready to move on to the next section, or do you need a couple more minutes to have a play around with it?
I'm ready, but
Yeah.
I can wait. I'm happy waiting until you're ready.
Okay. I'll have a watch of that video you've sent later on, Daisy.
I like watching this non-playable character having a go at trying to. Oh no! Yay! It's really funny.
I'll have a watch of it later on, Daisy. I can't quite get it to work at the moment.
It's just like a.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is, as you can see from the list on the left, there's only one option for you to be able to play as. There's only one character that you're actually able to play as. You can only play as the the character with the really spiky hair. But what we can do is we can actually play, if we want to, as one of the NPCs. So if you go, so you know that menu on the left that we were on? If you go to a section at the top called Code, can everybody see the section called Code that's at the top of that menu on the left? Yeah. If you click on that, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of those jigsaw pieces that we were talking about earlier, okay? Now, all of these jigsaw pieces are pre-built scripts that GameFruit have designed for us. So do you remember I showed you that one earlier with the background? That was a pre-built script that you can actually find in here as well if you want to, in the background section. But if you scroll through that list, you should see a section that's called Characters. And there are two little jigsaw pieces in there. One's called Classic Platform AI, and one's called Classic Platform Player.
Yeah.
So what those two scripts are is that they control the characters in the game. Okay. So the green one, the one that's called Classic Platform Player, that one is the one that controls you as the playable character in the game. Okay. The other one is the classic platform AI, that is the one that controls the NPCs, okay? And the AI in this case is what's sort of telling the NPC to copy whatever you do in the game as you play through it, okay? So let's just say you wanted to play as the NPC instead of the playable character. What you can do is you can click on one of these scripts, okay? Don't click on the edit code section because that will take you to that screen that we were on earlier. All you need to do is click on the jigsaw piece and drag it and click on the person that you want to assign it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to play as the zombie instead of as the man with the spiky hair. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that classic platform AI and I'm assigning it to the player. And you'll see that the jigsaw piece that's associated with that player, it changes colour so that to show that it's now moved into being the classic platform AI. What you then need to do is you need to take the classic platform player jigsaw piece and associate that with your NPC by doing the same thing, just hovering over it and clicking on that NPC. And you should see a little message pop up in the bottom left corner that says that you've added a new script to whatever your NPC is called. So mine says added new script added to zombie. If you then click back on the little mouse symbol and then click play, you'll see that now when the game loads, you're playing as the NPC and the other playable character, the man with the spiky hair, is now playing as the NPC. Okay? So I'll let you try and get to that stage. If there's anything you need help with, let me know.
How many characters can you add?
As many as you like. I can imagine that if you put quite a few in, it might, slow the game down a little bit.
Cause of the issue.
I'm adding some coins in to make it a bit better.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'll show you in a second how we can add objects and stuff.
I found it already.
Cool. Oh, that's cool. Have you made a new layer for it?
Oh no.
Okay.
That's what I need.
I'd make a new layer and I'd just call it objects or whatever it is that you want to call it, so that you can remember what it is. And I'd add that in so that you can see pretty much exactly what's so that you can add different objects to the game and stuff.
Is it good? No, I've become dead by the robot. I hate robots. Well, I'm actually quite interested in robots in reality.
Okay.
Not kill a robot.
No, I don't think many people should be interested in killer robots.
I don't really like anyone or anything that tries to kill me.
No.
And I'm dead. I like being alive.
Okay.
I felt.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll add a couple of objects to the game. Okay, so if you go back to that media section, I'm sure I think you've already found them, haven't you, Daisy?
Yeah.
If you go back to the media section and then add another new layer, which you call it whatever you like. I said, you can call it whatever you like. I'm going to call mine objects. You can then add different objects in the game that will let you do different things. So I'm going to add something that causes damage to your health. So I'm going to put some fire into the game. And I'm also going to add a door. So I'm going to add a door. I'm going to put it there. And I'm also going to put a key so that you can open the door.
So I'm going to create a new layer for object.
That's it, yeah.
add one more character.
Let's add
I've just added like some coins and then a present at the end.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
I have decided to add a metal door. And that is a metal key. Without it, you cannot escape. To get it, you'll have to jump over a saw.
Okay. Is everyone ready to carry on a little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I'm just finding the door.
Yeah, that's okay. So like I said, you should have some time at the end to like add new bits to your level and things like that. You know, you can do whatever you like with it at the end. So does everybody know what a HUD is?
Heads up display.
That's right. Okay. So a HUD, if for sort of people who don't know, it's kind of like a layer on a game that will always kind of be displayed. It's something that the character will always be able to see as you're playing through a game. And often what you'll find is that in games in sort of like in, you know, modern sort of computer games and things like that, you'll see that there's a HUD for things like health bars and maybe like the number of lives that you've got left or the number of coins that you've collected, things like that. So what you can do with Game Fruit is you can actually build and design your own HUD. And we'll do a little bit of block-based programming with that HUD, so that you're able to essentially have it fixed in the same place on the screen at all times, so that the player can always see it. So what we're going to do to begin with, to build that new HUD, is we're going to add a new layer, okay, and we're going to call this new layer HUD, okay, so that we remember that it's being designed for the HUD, okay.
Create a new layer called head.
That's right, okay. So once you've added that new layer, okay, what you can do, if you go... Yeah, go on. Okay. So once you've added that new layer called HUD, if you go back to that menu on the left again with all of the different things, if you scroll down, you'll actually come to a section in that list called HUD. It's probably right down the bottom somewhere.
Yes, just above moving tiles.
Okay, that's it. So if you'll see that there's one that's quite big and, well, it's next to HP. It's a red one. If you,
it's a player health bar.
That's the one. If you click on that, you can drag that into the top of your screen.
So, sorry,
That's okay.
The first one, the player health bar?
That's the one, yeah.
Where am I dragging that into the screen?
Put it into the top left of the screen. Sort of like how I've done on my screen. The YouTube or the Discord will probably catch up in a second.
I think I'll put it at the bottom, if that's okay.
That should be okay. It might be in a little while that you'll... For now, put it in the top left corner, and then later on we'll change where it goes. Because once we've done a little bit of coding, you'll see why it's better to have it in the top left. But afterwards, it's up to you where you place it. You can move it to wherever you like later on. But for now, we'll put it in the top left, and then we'll move it around later on.
Okay. I'm sick. I'm just testing something.
That's okay. Are you okay with that, Daisy? Have you got there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
And then I'm just kind of adding finish.
Yeah.
Little
That's
bits
fine.
in.
Keep tinkering as you go along. That's brilliant. Okay. So what we're going to also do is, do you see the really big number 0 that's in the HUD section of that menu on the left? We're going to click on that, and we're also going to drag that, and we're going to put it underneath that health bar that we've just added in, and you can make it a little bit bigger as well if you want to.
Wait, while we do ours.
That's okay. So, you know in that HUD section in the menu on the left, there's a big number 0. Can you see it?
Where should we put that?
Put that underneath the health bar for now. So you'll probably see on YouTube, you'll see my screen on there.
Do you know, like, if I add like a fire in,
Yeah.
does that like take a life off?
So the fire will actually get rid of some of your health.
Yeah.
There is a section in that menu on the left called Instant Death.
Yeah, so
it's
like it's all over kind of thing.
Yeah, that one will that section will let you lose a life. So the down. Yeah, go on.
So you know the red bit that we've just put
Yeah.
in? Is that your health?
That's your health,
thing?
yeah.
So if I jump on the fire now,
The
my
health will
is
go
gonna
down. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So you can also add a health bar to your NPCs. So if you have a look at do you see in that HUD section in the menu on the left, there's actually there are two health bars. There's like a green one that's nearly empty and a red one that's nearly empty.
Yeah.
You can, if you click on one of those, it doesn't matter which one, and you drag it and you place it next to your NPC, what that will do is it will actually associate that health bar with the NPC, so that when you say now you're attacking the NPC in the game, or if the NPC walks through fire or something like that, you'll see that the NPC's health bar actually goes down as well.
So I've got. Sorry, which one do I add in?
It's up to you. You can put any one of the 3 health bars that are in that HUD section.
No, for the NPC.
Yeah, the same thing. So any one of those health bars.
So I can add the red one.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, that's fine.
And where do I place this one now?
Just place it so it's sort of just next to their head or something like that. Can you see, has the YouTube caught up with where I'm up to? Or the Discord? You'll see on there where I've placed my one.
Is your NPC is the ninja, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Will it work if I put it above its head?
Yeah. As long as it's...
Because I've got 3 different characters.
Yeah, that's fine. So as long as it's placed near... So you can do one for each of your NPCs, and as long as it's sort of placed near the NPC, that's fine. Okay.
Yep.
See whether this will work.
That's okay.
HP I have, and I survive.
Okay. So, is everyone happy with that? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's
so
good.
for one thing,
Yeah.
for some reason the 0 doesn't actually move.
No, that's okay. We'll fix that in a second.
I think I have an idea of how. We need to go to
That's okay. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll fix that 0 so that it actually does something in a second. Okay. At the moment, all that 0 is it's just a number. But in a second, we'll look at how we can add a script to it so that it will actually record the number of lives that you have. So, well, what we'll do first of all is we'll add a little bit of text to the game. Okay, so remember that text symbol from the start that I was telling you about, that little option in the toolbar that has the text in it?
Yeah.
If you click on that, and then click in just the section just next to where we added the health bar to,
The health.
you can then write. So you can pick the font. Okay, we'll let you choose what font and things like that you want to use. So I'm going to use Arial Black and things like that. Okay, and you can pick.
Comic Sans.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to use Impact.
Yeah, that's fine. So what you can do is you can actually then label those two sections that we've just put in. So I've called mine Health and Lives, okay? You don't have to worry about changing the size of the text box or anything like that. Just make sure that the words sort of line up with the health bar or and the 0, okay? So you'll probably see it on my Discord or on YouTube in a second when it catches up how I've done it, okay?
I'm trying to move my health up.
Yeah.
Have
you got it?
How do I change the lives number?
Say that again, sorry.
How do I change the number of lives?
Okay, so we'll go through that in a second, okay? Well, I'll talk you through how that works in a second. So, has everyone done that now? Is that all okay?
What do we need to do? Just give me a quick recap.
That's okay. So have you added the words health and lives, like I've done on mine, to where you've put the health bar and things in the game?
Give me a moment. I just need to... change this to black.
Well,
accidentally moved my back.
Is yours okay, Daisy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. It might be later on that we need to kind of like do a little bit of repositioning and stuff like that, but for now that should be okay. But we can change stuff around later on.
It's going pretty well.
Yeah? Cool. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of... Well, first...
I think I won. Yeah, I won.
Okay, good.
Okay. My NPC died.
Okay, that's good. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to tie a couple of scripts to those sections that we've just put in. Okay, so for some of the sections there are actually pre-built scripts already built into GameFruit, but for one section we're going to actually have to build our own script. Okay. So you'll have, if you click on the mouse symbol in the toolbar and you hover over the health bar that you've just put in, you'll see that there's like an orange jigsaw piece tied to it already. So what that orange jigsaw piece is, it's a script that monitors the health of the playable character. Okay. But if you hover over the text bar or over the 0, you'll see that there's just two white jigsaw pieces with like a symbol in the middle of them. what that means is that those objects in the game haven't actually got any scripts associated with them yet. So we need to add some scripts to tell them sort of like what they're supposed to do. Okay.
To do stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
The text needs to snap to the camera, so.
That's right. That's right. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to add some code. So you know that code section that we were in earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you scroll down to a section in there that's called HUD, you'll see that there's a jigsaw piece called Lives HUD. If you click on that, hover over the 0 and drag it to the 0, you'll see that.
Lives HUD, yeah.
That's right, yeah. What you've got there is a script that monitors the number of lives that the player has.
I can't get it to go on the 0.
Okay.
I've done it.
You've done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit fiddly with the 0 because it's a bit small, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to...
Yeah.
Yeah? You got it?
It's...
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to build our own script, okay? And what that script's going to do is it's going to keep the words health, because you'll probably see as you're going through the game, the words health and lives, they disappear.
Word health that's left behind.
That's it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make a script that keeps them fixed in one place, okay? So what we're going to do, if you scroll to the top of that code section, you'll see a button that says Add New Script. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Click on that.
There's like a pre-built piece of code called Snap to Camera. And
Yeah.
It's staying where the camera is.
Yeah, that's fine. So you can use that if you want to, but if you want to build your own one, I'll show you how you can sort of like build it yourself. So
Is there a lot of code to build?
no, it's about 3 blocks. It's really small. Okay.
Yes, I can build it myself.
Okay.
I'll build it.
Yeah, that's fine. So have you got to that section that's just like a blank screen? It kind of looks like how Scratch would look, but without.
So I've got the top is untitled script.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got like Scratch bot.
Yeah,
stuff
brilliant.
Like that.
Okay, so that's where we need to be now. So first thing you need to do is go to Events, okay? And you'll see that there's a block in there called Constantly. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. If you click that, you can drag it into the game. Into your screen, sorry. Okay. And what that's going to do is obviously constantly keep things running. Yeah? So
What do we need?
so if you go to Events, do you see Events on the left?
What block do we need?
The one that says Constantly. It's the 5th one down in the list. You got it? Okay, drag that one into your coding screen.
Get into the workspace?
Yeah, that's right. So once you've dragged that into the workspace, go to the section in that menu on the left that's called Transform, and look for a block that says Set Center X Position of Myself to 0. Okay, it's right at the top. I've
got the yellow block that says Constantly.
Yeah.
And what am I doing next?
So if you go to that.
Position of myself to 0.
So if you go to, the section on the left with all of the different, Scratch blocks. If you go to the one that says...
Where I got the event from.
Yeah, so if you go to the bit that says Transform...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a block in there.
What is it?
Set Center X Position of Myself to 0.
Okay, and do I put that inside Constantly?
You do, absolutely. And you need to duplicate it as well so that you've got 2 of them, okay? So it looks kind of like how mine does.
one need to be just the second center position need to be Y.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's spot on.
So I've got one that's X and one that's Y.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The top one, set center X, position of myself to 0, and then set center Y, position of myself to 0.
That's right. Absolutely. So we're going to add a little bit more to it now. Okay. So if you probably remember earlier, there was I sort of said to add the HUD to the top left-hand corner. Okay. So the reason that I've done that is because we're going to position the health and lives words that we added in, the text, to being in positions x-axis 40, x-axis 10, y-axis 40, so that they're constantly fixed in that section of the screen. Now you can change those later on if you want to be in different place. It's entirely up to you, but for now that's how we're going to do it. So what you do, you go to operators on the left, and then you'll see a little bit down in the list under the numeric section, there'll be like a 1+1 block. If you click that and drag that into where it says 0, and then duplicate it so that it looks the same as the bottom one, you should then have blocks that look like mine. I'm not sure if you can see them on your screen yet.
No, not yet, but I get the idea.
Yeah? Okay, good. Are you okay, Daisy? And then once you've done that, you can go to a section that's called Looks.
Go to Looks, that's familiar.
Yeah, and then you go to a bit that says Camera, and there's a little block that's just called Camera on its own. It's a really, really small one. You can drag that into the first number 1. Okay?
So so what block do we need again?
So under Looks, there's a block under the Camera section, and it's just called Camera X. Camera X.
Drop down.
Right, my computer's just been really stupid.
That's okay.
So I missed from the duplicate X and Y thing.
Okay, that's all right. So, have you added in the 1+1 section yet?
So I've only got the code that's got constantly and then set center X
And set center Y.
and left to 0 thing.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So you know when in that section that says 0,
yeah,
you need to change that block to being something different. So if you go to the operators section on the left, you'll see a block in there called, it's just 1+1. Yeah. Drag that and replace the 0 section with that 1+1 block. And do that for both of the for the X and the Y, so that you've got 2 camera blocks. Okay. So what those camera? Oh, sorry, I know you haven't got there yet, Daisy. But what essentially we're doing is we're going to be telling the game's camera to constantly remain in one section, or keep that bit of the HUD in one section constantly throughout the game, so that we can always see it. So have you added those in, Daisy?
So I'm on the 1+1 bit now.
Yeah, okay, that's good. So do you see in the menu on the left there's a bit called Looks?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that menu there's actually a block called Camera. It's just Camera X. Okay, it's like the smallest one in the camera list. It's just called Camera X, yeah?
Yeah.
Drag that in and replace the first number 1 in each of the blocks with that, so that you've got one that's called Camera X and one that's called Camera Y.
Where am I putting this now?
So you know So you know.
Is the words there one?
So you know the 1+1 section that you've just added in.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first number 1. You need to put that little camera block into there. So you might see it on my screen on YouTube or Discord.
So what am I doing? But when I go to replace the first one with the camera,
Yeah.
when I go to delete that one block, it's not letting me delete only that block.
Yeah. So that there isn't actually a block in there. You don't need to delete it. You can just drop the camera block straight in there, and it'll replace it.
Yeah, I've just done it.
Okay. So
Sorry.
that's all right. So the last thing that you need to do now is for set center X position of myself, you need to change that to being a 10.
Am I doing a camera X for Y as well?
Yeah, so that one needs to be set to 40.
So with the camera X, do I change it to Y?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then for the X, what am I changing the 1 to be?
10. And then
So
for
it's
the
camera X plus 10.
10 and camera Y plus 40.
Okay.
So what that's going to do then, it's going to keep the words health, or eventually, once we program it in, it's going to keep the words health and lives constantly in position x-axis 10, y-axis 40, so that they're constantly in the same place. Because as you saw earlier when you were playing through the game, it was dragging it off of the screen as you moved through it. Through the game. So what this is going to do is it's going to keep things constantly positioned in. I take it you've done stuff with graphs and things like that, haven't you? In school and things, yeah. So have you done X and Y axis?
No.
Yes. Yeah. So it's the same thing. It's kind of like an X and Y axis on a graph. It's keeping the words health and lives in position X position 10, Y position 40 in relation to your game screen. Okay. So if you press the little, if you go to the X at the top of what where it says play and the top of the game.
Yeah.
If you click the X symbol, it will ask if you want to save.
Yeah.
If you click save and then call the script something like HUD or something like that, okay? And then press save. What that's then done is it's now made that script. You've basically just created a brand new script, okay?
Okay.
So what we're going to do now, if you scroll down that list that you've just made on the, in the code section, back on the main game, if you scroll down to the bottom, there should be a section called MISC for miscellaneous. Your new script should be in there now.
Yeah, mine's at the top, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. It might be at the top, it might be at the bottom. It depends on, how you're doing it.
Am I putting that?
You're putting that on the text box that you made earlier that had health and lives in it.
Let's try to give this thing a try.
Have you managed to get it to work?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, but the text is in is on top of each chair there.
Okay. Do you want to put a screenshot in the Discord so that we can see what you mean?
Hang on a moment. Let's go check.
So what am I doing now? Can I test that?
Yeah, go ahead, test it. Absolutely.
Right.
So it might be, Daisy, that you'll find that the positioning of the words and things, it might be a little bit off. So you might think like the health bar might be lower or higher than the words. All you need to do to fix that is just reposition them when you come out of the game. Just reposition them until you get it right. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky.
of them are lined up, I think.
Yeah.
But
Brilliant.
but when I go to press play,
Yeah.
and it loads, I just keep getting this thing that says preview failed.
Oh right. Okay. That's strange.
I'm
just going to use the snap to camera proprietary code. Let's give this a try. Yes, this worked.
Does that work as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
my solution works better.
Okay.
Snap to camera block.
I'm just laughing at how my camera's being really weird.
Is it working now, Daisy?
Because when I'm about to take a photo of my computer, it's like everything's upside down. But then when I flip the camera, so I'm taking like a picture of my face isn't upside down. And then I go on, that's just on the Discord camera. And then when I go to my normal camera, it's fine.
Okay.
Bad robot. I do not like killer robot.
So.
Oh my god! I barely have any HP.
So with Game Fruit, you've got a choice with Game Fruit of either making an online account, okay, which will let you kind of. So yeah, if you make an online account, you can actually save the games to your online account. But what I'll do now is I'll show you how you can.
Did that. I did.
Did you make an online account?
I did it earlier.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So if anybody else sort of hasn't made an online account, what you can do is you don't have to make an online account to like save the games. So what you can do is, and you can do this as well, Daisy, if you wanted to. You know where it says File in the top left of the screen? You can actually export and import games. So exporting a game means that you will basically download and save a copy of the game. And import a game means that you can import a copy of the game up onto Game Fruit if you wanted to kind of carry on working on it. Now, you can't play the game if you export it, okay? All it does is it saves a copy of the game's code in a JSON format, okay, which is a special type of file format. If you want to actually play the game, you have to import it back onto the Game Fruit website. But if you want to save the game, you have to onto Game Fruit itself, you have to make like an online account. And since you've done that, Daisy, you could, if you wanted to, click Save Game As, and it will save it to like your library.
Save Game As.
Yeah.
I'll just put it as, let's call it Dan, and call it Dan is Techno Camp lesson.
A new rocket, another rocket, Starlink 7.
Okay.
On the 17th, and on the 27th, they're going to be launching a crude mission with like people on it.
Okay.
Let me check the schedule.
The picture should be on there now.
Yeah, I've just come through now, Daisy. That's really strange. Have you tried it again? Is it still saying the same thing?
Yeah, I've done it about 3 times.
Okay. Tell you what I would try then. You know, because you've just saved the game.
Yeah.
Go to File and Open Game find the game that you've just saved and reload it in. Sometimes Game Fruit has the tendency to go a little bit strange. After like so long, the connection kind of like can sometimes time out and things. So if you try that, try sort of like reloading the game, and then see if that works.
PS on May 27th, SpaceX Crew Dragon Demo 2 is going to launch with a crew of NASA astronauts
No.
Hurley and Bob Behnken.
Still
Okay.
not working.
Still not working, Daisy. Okay. Okay, so it's saying that it's something to do with script block error.
Shall I just use that camera thing?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest try doing the snap to camera code and see if that works.
Starlink launches. Not sure if it was Starlink 7 or Starlink 6. I think it might have been Starlink 7.
Have you had any luck, Daisy? Anything?
I'm just trying it now.
That's all right.
So, around 10 to 9 a.m. So around 10 to 9 in the morning, if you have 10 15 minutes, then you can watch the launch of a SpaceX rocket.
Okay, cool.
And if you're able to at 9:30 in the night, then you'll be able to launch the first crewed spacecraft to launch on a SpaceX spacecraft, the first ever crewed SpaceX spacecraft on a SpaceX launcher.
Okay.
And the spacecraft that is going to space hasn't even flown before with a crew. This is going to be a momentous occasion in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
It's working now.
Is it working, Daisy?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
am definitely going to be watching all of these.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'm probably going to be awake at 8 o'clock.
To watch
By,
it.
8 o'clock anyway, because that's the time my mum is waking me up now.
Okay.
I got woken up at 5:30. Well, luckily I decided to come out.
I see. I'm very lazy. I've not been getting out of bed sometimes till like 10 o'clock.
It's working now.
That's good. Okay, so basically for the rest of the session, and really for kind of like the rest of the week, what I'd like you to do is just kind of start adding to your level, playing about with a few things, and you know, seeing what you can do with it. You know, it's entirely up to you. There are no limits. You know, I'm not setting any rules or anything. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. What we're going to be doing next week is we're going to be looking at adding like levels. So levels in the game, they're not kind of like levels that you would expect them to be. Levels in Game Fruit are kind of like different sections of the game. So we'll go through those next week. We're going to discuss probably a couple of other different things, like how to design, if I can get it to sort of work properly, because I was having some trouble with it, like designing custom characters and stuff like that. And we're just going to go through, you know, a couple of other more different sort of bits and pieces that you can add to your game. Like I said, what's going to happen next week is we're going to hold this session again, same time, 4 till 6. and then after next week they're going to be held every 2 weeks, just for like the foreseeable future type thing. So so we'll have a session this week today, a session next Wednesday, and then after that they'll be every 2 weeks. So that way the NSpark club sessions will still kind of like be taking place as normal. Remember that if you need to kind of go back over anything, and if there's anything that you're a bit stuck on, the YouTube will be there.
I've put up a link in the Discord now for my game, so you can all
Cool.
have a look.
Yeah. Let me just see if it's coming up on here. Bear with me. 1 second. I'm just trying it now, Daisy, to see if it works.
Taking a while to load.
Yeah. What you could do instead, Daisy, if this doesn't work, you could export the game, save it, and then upload the JSON file to the Discord chat, and then we can download it from the Discord chat and export it into the game fruit. Oh, it's just worked now. I've got it. It was a little bit slow, but it got there. I'm just having a mess around with it now.
A quick search to see what my what the video the SpaceX launch I saw was. So recently I watched one of the SpaceX launches. They launched a Starlink rocket, and I'll just see if I can find the video, and I'll see if I can find the stream.
Okay. So Andrew and I will be around for another like 10 minutes in case you need any help with anything. Remember, the Discord chat is available whenever you need it. So if you need help with anything during the week, I can like keep an eye on things, and see if I can help you out in any way if you do need help with anything. But yeah, I'll stick it. Andrew and I will be around for like another 10 minutes or so to help you out with anything if you need it.
Okay, so here's the stream I watched.
Does that work?
It did, Daisy. Yeah, it was good. It just about came through on mine eventually. If you, I think Andrew's put a game up. If you wanted to sort of have a play with that one, Daisy, all you'd need to do is download the game, the JSON file that Andrew's put in the chat, and then just import it into GameFruit, doing file import game, and that would then let you play the game that Andrew's put in.
So if I go to GameFruit now and how do I? Right. Trying to find the first link. So how do I do it? If I go to a new blank game, and then do I go import game?
Yeah, that's right. So have you saved the file from the Discord that Andrew's put in?
It'll be in my downloads somewhere on my computer.
Yeah, that's it. So if you take that and put import game and you import that game, you should then be able to play the game that Andrew's put up. Andrew's made a very, very tricky game.
what this is like. I keep hitting the top.
Andrew,
Oh my God.
are you there?
Hello?
Hello. That door is absolutely ginormous.
And
Have you got to the end, have you?
I'm at the final boss battle, I think. He's taking ages to try and destroy.
He's got 1,000 health.
He's got 1,000 healths. I'm back at the start.
You take 25% damage.
I'm on the first bit, but I cannot get to the second floor. Like, I'm on the first bit, and I've got to the first platform, but I can't get on the second to get through that door.
You go to the end of the platform. You should be able, if you hold down the left key and the right key,
Done it!
you should jump into it.
Done it!
Hard game done.
Is this payback for the hard game that I gave you the other day? Not that it was that hard.
Oh, I just died. Blew myself up because I decided to jump in the lava.
You like how it goes down the tunnel into the earth then?
I've just it's not gone well for me.
Oh, you haven't played it yet? I thought you'd played it and got to the boss already.
I did get to the boss, but then it was game over.
If only the door was like a checkpoint.
Yeah, Andrew, there aren't enough checkpoints in this game. It's not fair.
No, because
Nothing's easy.
No, this game is like impossible. Have you actually tested it out and completed it yourself?
I can get to the boss man. I've never defeated the boss man.
You've not defeated, so you haven't even.
What's the point of that? Making a game and you haven't even defeated it? Oh yeah, done it again.
Right, I'm at the boss battle again. Ooh, hello. Damn, no, he's seen me. Oh, no, you don't. This is not going well. Damn. That didn't go well.
Done it.
He was waiting for me. No! Okay, no. I've lost it again.
Can you not win the game?
No.
This is what you'll be doing all night now, Dan.
I know.
I will beat the boss.
I thought, like, old Tomb Raider was hard, but this is like a whole new level.
I got to the second checkpoint, and then I can't get over that skull.
Did you defeat the boss, Daisy?
What the lava bit?
The bit with the guy with a lot of health.
I don't know.
Okay.
But what I did find out is there's some instant death objects in the game as well.
Yes. Like the
You
piranha
can't
plant.
even go near them.
No, you can't. The piranha plant and things.
Got him!
Right, so I've got past the door,
Yeah.
and now I'm shooting the just like shot the skeleton person. Like the first checkpoint.
Okay. It gets a bit hard.
One bad thing about the enemy AI I've noticed.
Yeah.
They kill each other.
Yes, they do, yeah.
How do you even do that? 5 minutes. I did it.
There must be a way to stop them killing each other.
I got to the chicken.
The chicken? Oh, yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, you're getting to the hard bit now.
The chicken drumsticks. The drumstick.
Okay.
Oh, Andrew. I found a way.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything.
Wait, I don't know, I can't. I'm stuck now.
I have completed the game.
I got to the top and then I was about to jump onto, like, you know where the chicken drumstick bit is, and then you walk down the step. I was about to jump on the platform, but then it moved and then I fell in the lava, and then now I haven't gone back to the checkpoint.
Oh, that's probably because you ran out of lives.
No, I've got one left.
Yeah, the one left is the last one. So once you're on one, that means you've got no lives left after that. I got confused with that as well.
There is a hidden checkpoint at the bottom of the tunnel.
Yeah. What?
It kind of blends in.
Well, let's try again. Let's do this again.
Okay.
I'm determined to beat this game that Andrew hasn't even checked if it's defeated. I'm determined that I will get there before you.
Okay, so that's going to kind of like tie things up for today. Daisy, if you have success beating Andrew's untested game, then by all means put it in the Discord that you've done it. Remember, if you get stuck with anything and if you want to add to your game like throughout this week, then just go check out the stream will be up on YouTube in probably like a little while once it buffers up. And like I said, next week we'll look at adding like a few more bits and pieces to your game, so you'll have like an end of game screen, game over screen, stuff like that.
Andrew? I found a bit of a mistake you've made in your game. You need to create a floor underneath the lava.
I've just noticed.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's that about, Andrew? Okay.
Here we go.
Andrew, I'm just going to stop the stream, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.